If you've ever been frustrated by the traffic situation of Puget Sound, I can guarantee you our next guests share your pain and then some. Sarah Goodyear and Doug Gordon are the hosts of the War on Cars podcast, and now they are out with this new book, Life After Cars, Freeing Ourselves from the Tyranny of the Automobile. And they're hosting an event tonight at Town Hall, but first, they are here on our couch. Thank you to you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So first off, how did this podcast get started?
So we started the podcast in 2018 because we felt that nobody was really covering the car as this primal force in American life. You know, driving and needing to own a car dictates where you live, where you work, how and where you shop, where your kids go to school, and really all the contours of your life and societal life. So that was sort of the origin of that. And Sarah is a journalist, I'm an activist, and we just sort of brought our talents together to start the podcast.
I feel like it's going to be an amazing duo, and it has been an amazing duo. You believe that cars don't equal freedom and cars ruin everything. Please explain.
Well, yeah, I think that we are sold the idea that having your own personal motor vehicle is going to free you to do whatever you want, but so much of the time it just means you're stuck in traffic, you are looking for parking, you are worried about fueling up, you're worried about the costs. The cost of a new car today is now north of $50,000 on average. People are tied to car payments for years and years, insurance, all of that. And it ends up being a real burden for people and can really limit a lot of the things that they want to do with their lives. And there are other kinds of freedom that if we didn't put so much emphasis on making the world safe for cars, we could have other kinds of freedom that are maybe more genuine.
This is a very interesting concept. And how are cars impacting our world on both a small scale and a larger scale when we look at that?
Well, in the book, we talk about all of those things. I mean, on a personal level, you know, you're less likely to know your neighbors if you live in a really car-dependent place. You know, when you live, and again, not every place has to be Manhattan or downtown Seattle, right? Like it can be a small town, but just where things are closer together and you can have more of a sense of community. You know, your kids can have more freedom if they have options to get around by themselves. At the bigger societal level, you know, we know obviously climate change. We know all the environmental harms that cars cause. Tire runoff is poisoning water systems and poisoning salmon and wildlife in so many different ways. So, you know, cars, like I said, are this big force in our lives and in a planetary sense too. So anything we can do to sort of reduce dependence on cars, forced car dependence is really what we're talking about, will have myriad benefits for the planet, for politics, for you as an individual.
And on the other side, what would you say to viewers right now that hate this message and fully disagree and love their car?
Well, I would say that for people who really love to drive, one of the best ways to clear space for them to do that is to give other people options, to use transit, to use bicycles, to have a different kind of life, because that way the people who really need to use cars, and you know, maybe because of disability or because of where they live or because of the job they do, they need to haul stuff. All of that is enabled by freeing up the roads with other people using other modes.
Yeah, I think one of the things we like to say is that drivers understand that too many cars is a bad thing. When you get in your car in the morning to go to work and you hear the traffic report, you know, or you watch it on TV, you think, oh God, all of these other drivers are going to work. But you know, when you cycle or you take the bus or you take transit, like it's nice to be around other people in those modes. Yeah. But driving, it's terrible to be around other people.
I kind of think about my travels in Europe and beyond when you really love like talking to someone on the train and those moments. So what would you say to someone that wants to lean into the car-free lifestyle?
Well, what's really exciting and that I've seen over the last 20 years of covering this as a journalist is that there are car-free options opening up everywhere, and the momentum is really great to improve transit, improve biking. Seattle is a great example. Fantastic bike lanes, a great transit network, a great bus network. And I would say to people, it's a really good idea to find other people who have these interests, for instance, by following a podcast like ours. You can find out about a lot of people who are doing this work, and also just to get in touch with your elected officials. If this is something you care about, there are a lot of people in power who can make this better. And so if you don't have a relationship with your city council member or your other local official, I would say get in touch with them, learn their phone number, and when there's new infrastructure coming online or there's a debate over, oh no, we're taking away some parking spots for a bike lane, you can be one of the people who's letting them know there is a real constituency for this kind of active transportation and people-centered streets. And if you can be part of that change just by being an advocate on that level.
And I want to talk about the event tonight at Town Hall. Tell everyone what they can expect.
So we're being hosted by Cascade Bicycle Club, which is also a great way to get involved. Join Cascade. And we're going to be joined by Ray Delahanty, who runs a YouTube channel called City Nerd that focuses on urbanism and city issues. It should be a lot of fun. It's sold out, but live stream tickets are available.
Okay, well, we love to hear that. People can still tune in. Thank you to you both for being here today. We really appreciate your time.
This is great. Thank you.
And just a reminder, like we just said, Sarah and Doug are holding an event at Town Hall tonight, Wednesday, November 5th. It's sold out, but live stream tickets are available. Just check Town Hall's website for details.